course, it goes live right away.
Did it? Is that a record?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I know. Hey, Ralph.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you.
How are you?
How you doing?
Hello. We are live and the link is posted.
We're live. That's my most important job.
Yes, it is.
Just sit down now.
What?
You can sit down now.
I have no reports. That's why I'm square.
I don't have anything, I'm grasping for straws.
You don't have to say something.
Why not? You don't need to tonight.
It's the only time anyone listens to
My
me.
hair smells like the snow.
Yeah, weird.
I do love that smell. A little much.
Oh, no, this is my first time in the building.
What?
I know you heard it, but did you hear it? No, I don't.
He did. Oh no, he did not hear me. He,
It resonates. Sometimes you need to hear it 3 times.
Once in a while I say, really have nothing to report. I say, what's that all about? How come he's keeping secrets?
when I talk, it's like when his children talk. It's just like
Hi, Rudy.
he's told me that before. It's like when Annie talks, right? It's like la 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 la. Yeah. Rudy, look how early I am.
Twice in the same day.
It's amazing.
Well, you get used to it now.
Don't get used to it.
Bob.
What are you looking for, Rudy?
Copies of the motion I'm going to offer a little later.
Let's see it.
They're supposed to all be on my spot here.
No.
It's your spot, right?
Where's my agenda?
You said the end.
This is it. That's it? You're in my spot, actually. But that's okay. We were
Do
this
I not
way.
have an agenda?
We were? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. You know
That's all right.
what? That's, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
you're right. You're right.
Okay.
I'm in your spot, so I screwed up.
We fall down the stairs.
We'll change it around next time.
I don't know, but I don't have an agenda. I don't need one.
You don't have an agenda on the top of your pile?
No?
Should be.
Oh, I do. Never mind.
Yeah, it looks different.
It does look different. Are you
It's
trying to throw us
post-pandemic.
off?
Post-pandemic. That's right.
So can I declare the pandemic over?
Yeah.
Sorry, Ray.
That's right.
You gotta read this.
That's not how, please. Tim Buckman. How are you?
It
Is there an
means the
extra I need
pandemic's
for the
over.
minutes?
It's over. That's right. You clean ones here.
I
Larry and
need it for the
Sarah's here.
minutes if it's
Wow.
new. Not on my agenda.
New day. I'm early.
You should say with Rudy.
Go figure this out.
Check with Rudy.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is yet. I don't want to be spreading rumors.
Do you want to talk about police stuff? Or do you want me to talk about police stuff?
You can take it. Yeah, that's fine.
There's just a printout of it? The printout of the case.
Okay.
Seven PM work session meeting of the Wykoff Township Committee is called to order. Can I get a roll call of the Township Committee, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Mr. Boonstra?
Here.
Mr. Madigan?
Here.
Mr. Melchiong?
Here.
Mr. Shanley?
Here.
And Mayor Rubenstein.
Here. And Nancy, could you read the open work session statement, please?
Yes, ma'am. This regular work session meeting of the Wykoff Township Committee is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting appears on our annual schedule of meetings. A copy of said annual schedule has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall. A copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. and has been emailed to The Record, the Ridgewood News, and the North Jersey Herald and News, all newspapers having a general circulation throughout the Township of Wykoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda thereof was similarly posted, filed, and emailed to said newspapers.
Okay, so we are going to have a donation of the checks by Lakeland Bank and ShopRite for the 2021 fireworks. And I'd like to bring everybody up. And I guess, you know what, Tim, actually, I'm going to have you start because Tim's the chair of the fireworks committee, so he can kind of tee this up.
Thank you. I want to thank Giuseppe Cassio of Lakeland Bank and Larry and Sarah of ShopRite for their donations to the fire department so that we can have the 2021 fireworks on September 25th. Without those donations, it was not going to be possible to do it. So we really thank you for doing that and supporting the fire department and all our first responders, our ambulance corps as well, so that we can have a fundraiser which includes our whole community and our whole town and surrounding towns to come out and enjoy a great night out in September for these fireworks. So thank you so much. And then if, however you want to do it, you want to
Sure.
have...
Yeah, no, I'd like to echo what Tim said and just thank you so much. The town is so looking forward to getting the fireworks back on track. It's one of really the events that everybody looks forward to most this year and every year. And, you know, we really missed it during the pandemic and we really can't thank you enough for supporting our community and, you know, your generous gift to us. So if you want to come up, maybe, how do you want to do this?
We'll go out...
Both together
They have
or?
checks. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll come down.
Do they want to say anything?
What?
We want to ask if they want to say anything.
Yeah, we can have them, they can speak, you know, but let's do the check presentations first, and we'll take a photo.
If anybody wants a photo, I'll be happy to send it to you.
That'd be great. We would love it.
From the town, or local photographer, works us all the time.
We would love it for our social media.
I'll definitely have everybody.
We can professional photography.
Say fireworks.
We just moved, we don't see the shop right now.
That's a good point, thank you. It's a true professional right there. The hardest thing is that this thing makes the thing fog out. So it's all good. This is great, thank you.
Just hold a second, I just put film in my camera. All right. 1, 2, 3, thank you.
I'll take a better picture than
And I think we could do each check with the township committee.
Sure.
Let's do Lakeland first.
Okay.
These will be great shots for our website.
Now, and Sarah?
Just watch your step.
Okay.
Fireworks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Check.
Yes. Thank you again.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
And my check is in the mail. My check is in the mail.
Oh, it's in the mail.
Thank you again. Thank you so much.
More than happy to do it. It's being processed.
Mr. and Sarah, thank you. Bob Shannon.
Thank you.
No.
Put the money down.
We would never get you out.
Larry's a man of few words. Thank you. You're quite welcome.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Oh, no.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, my God. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Larry.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Always take his back. I do as well. She does wait, you know.
Thank you for your generosity.
Barry lives in town, he helps us a lot.
I live in town.
So he did all of our areas.
Thank you, everyone. Again.
Take care.
Thanks
again, guys.
Enjoy the weather.
Hi, everybody, thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Barry. Take care, man. Good to see you soon.
Yeah, there's somebody here.
Nancy, can we confirm that the Finance Committee has reviewed and signed all the vouchers and
Correct.
that everything's been signed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank
Everything's
you.
good.
Are we not asking for written comments anymore?
No, we are not.
You're not.
Okay, just confirming that. All right, then can I get a motion to open the 10-minute public comment period, 2 minutes per speaker, 2 minutes per speaker for public comments on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the Township of Whitecroft.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Rubenstein?
Yes. So we are asking for a call-in, though.
Yes.
Okay. Please call 201-891-7000, extension 2220, if you wish to make a comment, or if the member of the public wants to make a comment who's in person tonight. Mr. Buckman,
Come on up.
it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here for me, if not for you. And I know you enjoy your meetings anyway, and I've enjoyed watching them on video. I'll try to keep to my 2 minutes by just going into it. Mr. Landell gave an excellent report recently on his meeting with Peter Lupo of Hoplite Communications. Now, I know that when the Wyckoff Zoning Board needs a traffic or a fire protection consultant, they hire one with a duty to the board, not the same one the applicant used. I'm confused about why towns are signing up with a creature of the wireless telephone companies to represent their needs in the rollout of 5G. It's necessary to listen to an applicant's presentation, but signing on to it, maybe just because it's free, isn't responsible. I'm no 5G expert, but I wonder if featuring the football size of the antennas is soft pedaling the more substantial size of the equipment racks on the poles. This committee has previously expressed displeasure about the visual prominence of pole-mounted solar panels, for example. Has Mr. Lupo offered a visit to a full-size mock-up representing, say, 90% of the final poll's appearances in Wyckoff? In view of the density of nodes, we should also be asking, what's the increase after the completion of installation in technician roadside parking hours? We already have traffic troubles with the increase in delivery services and executive property service parking. Will additional carriers later add bulky equipment? I also worry that improved cell coverage will encourage Verizon's efforts, already made at the Jersey Shore, to substitute wireless service for their obligation to provide copper dial tone to customers who want it. There are some conceptual overlaps between solar panels, public EV charging, 5G equipment, and the county traffic light at Sycamac and Cedar Hill Avenues, which I supported. It's hard for me to reconcile the committee's opposition to solar panels and traffic lights with the apparent embrace of 5G. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Buckman. Hearing and seeing no one else, can I get a motion to close, please?
Motion to close.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Rubenstein?
Yes. Mr. Shannon, can I get review of the 8 p.m. business meeting agenda, please?
Yes, as it relates to the 8 p.m. business agenda, there are two proposals for additions to the agenda. One is an ordinance regarding cannabis, which has been prepared by Mr. Landell, and the other is a proclamation that has been requested for one of our residents who will be turning 94 years young on July 3rd. Otherwise, the agenda is as posted on Friday with the ordinances and the resolutions to be considered this evening.
Thank you. And do you have a review of the policy action items?
Yes, I do. I do have a number of policy action items I'd like to review with you, and I'll try to be brief. First item is, for your information, as of May 31st, our clerk's office has completed and served 419 open public records requests. Our social media followers continue to increase. The most popular are the police Facebook page, registration for the weekly e-news communication, and Instagram. I was contacted by Provident Bank, which is located across the street from Town Hall. They've contacted me on how to conduct a grand opening, and they'll be looking into a grand opening.
Bob, I'm sorry, did you direct them to the Chamber of Commerce?
No,
Because I know.
no, I didn't. They wanted to know how they could get permits to put tents in their parking lot and conduct a grand opening. So I connected them with Fred Depke, and I know Fred has spoken to them, but I'll be happy to call them back and connect them with the chamber.
If you don't mind, that would be
I'll be
great.
happy
I know
to.
the Chamber would really like to know about all of this.
And quite frankly, Madam Mayor, in regard to your request, since I get the zoning permits for the new businesses, we just contacted this week the chamber secretary and provided her with the latest three. So
Yes, I saw that, and we really appreciate that.
And we'll continue to do that.
Great, thank you.
That's not a problem. I'm happy to do that. I just want to mention to you, I have a number of meetings this week. We have a number of project teams in full action. One is the Morley Road Sewer Project team. The other is the Gardens of Wyckoff. Our fall newsletter project team is working. There was a status memo in last week's packet about that. I will have a meeting this week regarding the 5G project team meeting. We also are reviewing user fees with a project team. We've had a request, and this is, I need some guidance from you. We've had a request to the clerk's office from the Wyckoff nonprofit groups that utilize the Larkin House. Many of them prepaid their fee for a year or half a year in 2020, and as you know, we didn't allow them to use it. They want to apply that to 2021. It seems reasonable to me, so I'm looking for your authority.
I mean, I'd absolutely be in support of that. There's no reason to double charge them.
Remember, they are all Wyckoff nonprofit
Right,
groups.
it's fine.
I drafted a fireworks contract and a hold harmless and indemnity agreement following the latest version we did in 2009 that was prepared by Mr. Landell. I'll be sending that to the fireworks committee this week. In regard to this evening, as you can see, we're back in Town Hall, meeting live, and the open public notice that Nancy issued for this meeting did not include the emergency rules for the pandemic. Madam Mayor, you mentioned earlier about are we receiving written comments. That was part of the pandemic. One of the things that I thought you wanted to keep was the verbal call-in comments. I think it's a nice transparency measure to make it available to folks who may not be able to travel here. So it's an enhancement. It exceeds what's required by the law, and I thought that's what you wanted to do, and that's why I did it that way. So I hope I read your policy directly.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. I'm also working with Diana on the cybersecurity project team. That's turning out to be quite a lot of work, but we're working hard so that we can get the best insurance coverage for the township. The employment practices liability project team, which I'm working on, continues. That's an awful lot of work as well. I do want to thank Nancy Brown and her staff, who were assisted by our town hall custodian, Joe Salerno, and DPW, who helped with the election administration duties. Again, these are election administration duties to ensure that folks who come to the polls in Wyckoff can vote. 8.64% of registered voters went to the polls for the primary election, and we also got great use out of the convenient vote box that Mr. Boomstra obtained at the ramp at Town Hall. for the second year in a row. So Nancy, I want to thank you for all that work. I know, because I was the clerk previously, it's incredible and a lot of work, so thank you. The township building opened completely yesterday. Prior to that, we had 7 weeks by appointment, and then we had 1 week with attendance. I also hope the weekly activities report that you receive, that you find it useful and timely. This morning, I was able to sequester 2 hours away and make some improvements on the affordable housing project team that we use to move forward. So that's just the updates that I have in terms of the projects that are forefront on my desk that need to get done because they will result in cost avoidances.
Thank you. Tim, do you want to kick off the Township Committee reports?
Sure. I'll be brief. I want to thank Larry and Sarah and Giuseppe Cassio for coming tonight and presenting the checks, which are going to help our fireworks. And just an update on the fireworks is the football boosters look like they are going to agree to do their fundraisers so that there's some food at the fireworks. It's about 90% that they're going to do it. And Roger just wants to confirm it with his boosters to make sure he has enough people that are going to be able to run it, which he thinks they will, because there's going to be no games there that night, and Andy's going to try to make sure any of the games are during the day and away, so that they should be able to do it. So Rec Board met last night. It may be their last Zoom meeting that they're going to do, because I had stressed that the Township Committee wants meetings to be in public, and so that people are, if they want to come, feel comfortable coming and speaking anything they need to regarding the Parks and Rec. And last night, and just on that same topic, I just want to report that the Memorial Playground fence and mulch were installed. They replaced that old split rail fence and put a nice new fence in there, and they put a lot of new mulch in there. And the only update that I have, lightning detection systems were supposed to, the install was supposed to start this week, but there was a delay in shipping on some of the parts. They're waiting for a few more of the parts to get here. So that lightning detection system is delayed by another week or two, but we will have the protections for our coaches, our children, and our fans to warn, within 10 miles if there's lightning striking the ground to get off the field and get in your car. So that's happening. And last night, the lightning detection systems went off in Oakland at my 13-year-old's game, and that was what they did is we got off the field and we were in our cars, and then we realized the rain wasn't going anywhere and it was canceled, and now they got to resume the game tomorrow. But it gets everyone off the field as soon as they know that there's lightning in the vicinity. And that's all I got. Thanks.
Rudy?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. The Historic Preservation Commission met last week, and they will not be meeting for July and August, but would like to, and I said I would mention this in my report tonight, there are 14 registered historic homes in Wyckoff, which were given such designation in 1983. So they are registered, they are on the record, and it is public knowledge. The Historic Preservation Commission would like to list them on the Historic Preservation's website by address. And I don't see a problem with that. They're already known, and there's already a list exists. And what the commission would like to do is list these. And then, as work goes on, we may add to the list, but we would like to get them listed initially. So I'll talk to Bob about that. The commission is also working towards certified local government designation for Wyckoff regarding the Historic Preservation Commission, which will help gain access to certain grant opportunities. The members will do the heavy lifting. When this came up, I indicated that we didn't want to burden Bob's office or Nancy's office or anyone with this, so the members are doing the heavy lifting, and I'll continue to report on that. I'll defer to the mayor on the police committee and the interviews this morning. Bob alluded to the fact that the parks will be, there's a meeting with the Parks Department, where Parks Committee with Bob and Scott Fisher and myself. That's Thursday, Bob, or tomorrow?
Thursday.
Thursday, that was Thursday, right. Bob also mentioned under sewers, the hookup from Wild Duck Road to Morley Drive, including the usage of the easement that Rob has gotten through, and we're looking at installation. It'll probably be a public-private endeavor, as we did with the Mountain Ave culvert. The Wyckoff Environmental Commission, I want to thank everyone who attended the fishing derby. It was very successful. Bob presented me with the check for the styrofoam collection company. So this week we'll be getting the styrofoam, which is in one of my trucks in Hawthorne, up to the recycling center. Thank you, Bob, for the check. Bob processed that. And the Green Film Festival is this weekend. It's the 19th, which is Saturday night, in the parking lot by Express Scripts in Franklin Lakes, on that part of the Express Scripts property that the Borough of Franklin Lakes acquired a year or so ago. Planning Board had no meeting last week. There was no business at all for the Planning Board. There were no applications to memorialize, no bill lists to approve, so there was no meeting. But I would like to talk about a Planning Board issue of 225 in Houghton Ave, which is a soil movement permit, which has been around actually for 3 mayors, almost 2 years. Mayor Madigan, Mayor Shanley, and myself. And a year ago this month, the Planning Board denied the application. After a lot of hearing, a lot of postponements, the Planning Board denied the application. It was in June of 2020. The attorney for the applicant at that meeting asked if the board would put a hiatus on enforcement of the denial because the applicant wanted to look at the possibility of putting a pool in the area of the property where the soil had been moved. And then, of course, everything was put on hold through the pandemic, through the summer and the fall. And the pool application came in February, but was withdrawn in April. And at that point, 2 months ago it was withdrawn, 60 days. And at that point, the hiatus protection from enforcement ceased to exist, because that was the last that plan to avoid enforcement. So a daily violation of the Planning Board action from a year ago has existed for approximately 60 days. As a policy issue, I think the Township Committee should not allow this to exist. And now we're only having a limited meeting schedule over the next several months. So what I've done in consultation with Bob Shannon and Rob Landell and Planning Board Chairman Fortunato is to create a motion here, which I would like to offer tonight. Chairman Fortunato supports this. So I'd like to read this. Everyone has a copy of it. As a motion, I would like to move that the Wyckoff Township Committee directs the Township Attorney and/or the Township Administrator to order the appropriate agency in the Wyckoff Building Department to commence enforcement of the remediation necessitated by the June 2020 Planning Board denial of a soil movement permit at 225 in Houghton Ave. The enforcement shall begin Wednesday, June 16th, 2021, and will include but not be limited to per diem summonses carrying daily fines of $2,000 or otherwise prescribed by ordinance of the Township of Wyckoff. The per diem summonses and fines shall continue until the remediation is completed as determined by the Township Engineer and will be answerable in Wyckoff Municipal Court. So that's my motion, if someone would second it.
I'd like to second that motion.
I don't know if there's any questions. That speaks for itself.
We can
Take a
vote
roll
on it.
call vote.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Rubenstein.
I have to abstain.
Right. I have one more thing I would like to mention. I would like to thank Nancy and her team for an uneventful primary election last week. It was great to do the voting in person, even though the turnout was quite small. It was uneventful, and I think it was a good practice run for the general in November. So thanks, Nancy, to you and your team. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Pete, you can go.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I will be brief. The Board of Health met last week. The zoning board will be meeting tomorrow. Bob, I think, could you send a memo out to the boards just to notify them that there will be in-person meetings going forward, so everyone's on the same page with that? And then, lastly, all I have is I attended the fishing derby this past Saturday. And it was, not this past Saturday, Saturday before, and it was a great event. I want to thank all the volunteers, and it was great to see all the family and all the kids out fishing at Zabriskie Pond. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Tom? I told you didn't have to have anything.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I too thank them in person, but thank you, ShopRite and Lakeland Bank, for your generosity again this year. And again, it's part of members of our community stepping up, supporting our community. So when you're out there, please support them as well. I was at the Chamber of Commerce year-end event with the mayor this evening, earlier, before this, our meeting here, and they had their scholarship winners for the year, which were Carson, Elnor, Eva Pervin, and Drew McNamara. It was a very nice event. It was held over at the Bergen Brick Stone. And congratulations to those people, and thank you to our chamber for, excuse me, all they've done during this difficult time. Just want to remind people, graduation of K-8 is next week. The eighth grade graduation at Eisenhower, and the graduations at both Ramapo and Indian Hills are next week. So Ramapo and Indian Hills is on the 23rd, and Eisenhower is on June 24th. I'd like to thank the primary voters, and I'm just happy that the right team, Tim and Tom, prevailed. So thank you for your support. And then on a couple of personal notes, the lovely Mary Madigan, myself, our prayers have been answered. My daughter Annie got engaged on Saturday night, San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge. How romantic it was. And fortunately, Gary didn't jump after she said yes.
You wonder why Annie lives in California.
It's a very touching moment. She'll be out here the 4th of July week. We're going to hear all about it. Pictures to follow. Keep your eyes on Facebook. And then the last thing is Happy Father's Day this Sunday for those fathers that are with us, those that are up in heaven, and God bless all the fathers. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. I'm sure Annie appreciates that
She will.
sentiment.
Especially when she watches the YouTube.
Yeah. Which I'm sure she does religiously.
She might call in at the 8 o'clock meeting.
May or may not be
Nothing
invited
would
to that way.
Nothing would surprise
All right. Everyone's touched on a bunch of things. Oh, Tom, you also went to the Eagle Scout ceremony.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Mayor. I did go to the Eagle Scout ceremony on Sunday. 4 young men became Eagle Scouts, Troop 309. It was outside at the Reformed Church in the parking lot. It was raining. I didn't bring a chair. You're supposed to bring a chair under the tents. The good news is they got the rain-shortened remarks for me. So it was a very nice event. Congratulations to those Eagle Scouts and all the Eagle Scouts. Troop 309.
Thank you. I too attended the Chamber of Commerce end of year meeting, and congratulations to Carson, Eva, and Drew on their scholarship awards. That was it was a great event.
Was that indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors. They have a
It was nice.
patio on the back where they kind of showcase their brick work with grills, pizza ovens. porticos. It's
Pizza?
really-
Did they have pizza?
They did not. They only had the sliders that nobody wanted to eat.
They were good, though.
They were really good. But it was a very nice event. Assemblyman DePhillips was there with us as well. Zabriskie House, I think we're actually going to have a meeting for the first time in over a year, so we're putting that together, so TBD. I also attended the fishing derby, which was really, really well attended. And what was nice is we had some new families to Wyckoff. This was kind of their introduction to Wyckoff, and they seemed to have a great time, and it was nice to welcome some new kids and some new families. So thank you to the Wyckoff Environmental Commission. I know they worked hard on that. So police committee, Rudy and I with Bob and Chief Murphy met 5 candidates this morning, 5 candidates this morning. And we interviewed them, and it was just a pleasure speaking to them, and we are going to narrow it down to the top 3, and we will be reporting back shortly. And also, the police are doing a new program that's been really well received by the community. They are doing summonses if you wear your bike helmet. So if you're a child and you wear your bike helmet and you see one of the police officers, you can go up to them and they will give you a ticket, which you can then redeem at Dairy Queen for free ice cream.
That's great.
So,
Nice, yeah.
great, you know, our police department is the best at community policing, and they really do a great job, especially with outreach to our children. They're also starting up, I spoke to Superintendent Postma, and they are starting up, one of you can tell me, it used to be called the DARE program, now what is it? LEAD,
I think, yeah.
So they're going to be starting up the LEAD program again in our K-8 schools. So in conjunction with our police department, I believe some of our police officers need to be trained on LEAD before we can implement it, but hopefully in September that'll be ready to go. And I want to also wish everybody a happy Father's Day, not only to the dads, but also to the uncles and everyone who takes the role of a father. And Tim, we're thinking about you. That first year is always the hardest, I know from personal experience. So just thinking about everybody who has a good Father's Day and a really tough Father's Day. So that's my report. Rob, you're up.
Been working on a lot of Oprah requests lately, so that's been taking up some time. You've got the cannabis ordinance in front of you tonight for introduction. After we introduce it tonight, it'll go to the planning board for their review. Working on an assignment of a developer's agreement. I think I just got that done. And I wish I had an update for you on Maple Lake, but I'm just gonna keep hammering that. I'm still waiting for the county to sign off on it. But once they do, we're ready to close. The title work's in, and it'll be pretty quick after that.
Are they doing any in-person county planning board meetings, or is it all somehow?
I think they
virtual?
might just start to do the in-person meetings now, but that's not slowing it up. I mean, they're meeting.
Okay.
And then in the county planning board meetings, the applicants a lot of times don't go anyways. They kind of do it
Right.
in-house.
Well, they don't list any agendas on their website, right? Because
They should.
I've been looking, I didn't see
You haven't seen
any, I didn't see any agendas. I was trying to see if we were on it.
I'll call Mike Varner again tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
That's it.
Okay, great. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take the time to read the proclamation that we have for Mr., is it Sokoli?
Sokoli.
Sokoli, okay. So Mr. Sokoli is, as I think Bob mentioned, 94 years young. He's a resident of Wyckoff and a World War II veteran. And so we are issuing a proclamation to him. The only thing I would like is our printer went a little haywire, and so there's a kind of a streak, if we can get it reprinted, just so that it's doesn't have that in it. But so I'll read the proclamation. Whereas Robert Sokoli, Robert Sokoli?
Sokoli. Pep Sokoli.
Robert Zaccoli was born in Clymer, Pennsylvania, on the same day as his twin brother Benjamin, and his family, which included 12 other children, eventually moved from Pennsylvania to Wyckoff. And whereas, as the children grew up and set out to begin families of their own in Michigan, Delaware, and New York, the rest of the family raised chickens, pigs, cows, and turkeys on their 13-acre parcel at 325 Cedar Hill Avenue. And whereas, as a step towards his independence, Robert took a job as a mechanic at a local gas station. And whereas, in 1945, Robert was sent to Japan after enlisting in the military. And whereas, Robert met his wife Jean in 1951, and the two married in 1953. And whereas, in 1955, Robert made a career move which would change his life when he was hired as a police officer in the Township of Wyckoff. And whereas Robert rose through the ranks in the Wyckoff Police Department, serving the community as sergeant, lieutenant, detective, and eventually was promoted to chief of police in 1980. And whereas after 32 years serving the Wyckoff community on the Wyckoff Police Department, Robert retired in 1986. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Township Committee of the Township of Wyckoff, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, that the Township of Wyckoff sincerely thanks Robert Zaccoli. Zaccoli, former chief of police, is sincerely thanked for his service to the community, and our sincere congratulations and best wishes are extended to him on the achieving the milestone of his 94th birthday. From the Township, from the Wyckoff Township Committee.
Thank you. It was very nice. Thank you.
Very nice.
So happy birthday to Robert. And I assume his twin as well.
And that proclamation will be presented by the mayor with Assemblyman Rooney with his proclamation when the whole family is together in July.
Oh, wonderful.
And I wanted to have it adopted tonight so it would be in place and valid for their family get-together in July.
Wonderful.
So I don't know the date yet, but when I'm told by the Assemblyman's office, I'll then let the committee know.
Fantastic. Are they still in Wyckoff?
Yes.
He is, yeah.
We are not going into closed session tonight. Okay, then can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Rubenstein?
Yes.